Okay guys, today's the last set of conic sections we're going to be doing, which is hyperbolas. And just like we did for the other ones, I have got a hard copy of this note page for you. I strongly suggest you guys print this out. I'm not going to read through all this. You can read this. You can look in your book for this. But this is all of the important stuff. So it defines what all the variables are, defines, distances and things like that. Very similar to ellipses. I want you to note that things will vary depending on which direction the hyperbola opens. In this case, we call that a transverse axis. The transverse axis is basically that segment that joins the two pieces of your hyperbola. So if it's horizontal, it's going to open left and right. If it's vertical, it's going to open up and down. And your formulas here depend on whether or not it opens left and right, which would be horizontal, or if it opens up and down, which would be vertical. Now, one key piece here, A no longer has to be the biggest value. Remember, for an ellipse, A always had to be the bigger number. That is not necessarily the case for hyperbola. In a hyperbola, from the equation, we base whether or not it's horizontal or vertical by which variable the x or the y comes before the minus sign in the middle here. Okay, so that's what you're looking for. So if it's horizontal, the x squared piece will be before the minus. If it's vertical, the y squared piece will be before the minus. All of this stuff down here is just definition stuff in terms of what variables represent things. So I'll be referring to those as we do some examples. So let's get into the examples. Okay, so for example 1, let's say that I give you this equation of a hyperbola, y squared over 9 minus x squared over 4 is equal to 1. So things that I'm going to make you find for hyperbola, I will make you find the center. I will make you find major vertices. I do not make you find minor vertices for hyperbola, just major vertices. And I will make you find the foci, and I will also make you find equations for the asymptotes. We'll do that here in just a moment, but let's focus on these three things first. So if you did your homework for ellipses, center should be easy here. Your center here is going to be just at 0, 0, because there are no numbers up there with x and y, so that means that your h and k are both 0. To find your major vertices, let me get rid of this for a second because I may need more room there. You got to first of all figure out, is this thing horizontal or vertical? So which variable comes before the minus? In this case, that is y. So that means that this is a vertical transverse axis. So that means my major vertices and foci are going to be up and down. I need to find what a and b are. A is 3, b is 2, and a hyperbola, your first denominator is always a squared, your second denominator is always b squared. And I should go ahead and find c. For hyperbola, c squared is a squared plus b squared. So c squared is going to be 9 plus 4, which is 13. So c is going to be the square root of 13. So my major vertices, go back and read the bottom of that note sheet. Your major vertices are a units away, so they're going to be 3 away. Vertically, so that's up and down, so I'm going to have one at 0, -3 if I go down, and I'm going to have one at 0, +3 if I go up. For my foci, they will be c away, and that's also up and down, so that I'm just going to cheat and write that as 0 plus or minus radical 13. Now, asymptotes, you have equations for those as well. For my asymptotes, I need to know what a, b, and c are. I also need to know what h and k are. Well, remember, your center, that's h, and that's k. It won't let me draw the k there. Okay, so let's do this. It's just not going to let me do it. Okay, so that's k. We'll just put it there. So since this is vertical, that's y equals.
Tony Italia, if you're in the building, can you come to the main office? Tony Italia, if you're in the building, come to the main office.
Look at that, you guys got a bonus announcement. I'm sure you missed those. Y is equal to k, which is 0, plus or minus, this is vertical, so it's going to be a over b, so that's 3 over 2, and that's x minus h, which is 0, so my asymptotes are y equals plus or minus 3/2 x. That's all the stuff I'm going to make you find for hyperbola. Let's try another one. So for this one, let's take a look at x plus 3 squared over 144 minus y minus 2 squared over 25 equals 1. Okay, so first thing, center. Center is at -3, 2. So that's my h, that's my k. This is horizontal because your x part comes before the minus. A is 12, b is 5. C squared will be a squared plus b squared, which is 169, so c is 13. So then I can say that my major vertices will be a away, so they're going to be 12 away, left and right from my center. So if I go left 12, that's going to be -15, 2. If I go right 12, that'll be 9, 2. My foci will be 13 away from the center. So if I go left 13, that's going to be -16, 2. If I go right 13, that's going to be 10, 2. Okay? Is that right? Yes. There we go. And for my asymptotes, this one's horizontal. So again, go back and look at your formula. Y equals k, which is 2, plus or minus. This is horizontal, so my slope is b over a. And then that's x minus h, so that would be x plus 3. And I'm just going to leave those there. Okay, let's try a different type of question. For this one, if I give you vertices to be at plus or minus 3, 0, and I give you foci to be at plus or minus 6, 0, if I plot those, I can immediately see that my vertices are here, and my foci are here and here. So that means that this is horizontal. It also means that A is the distance from the center, and by the way, my center here has to be the midpoint of those, so I know my center's at the origin. A is gonna be 3, because that's the distance from the center to a vertex. C is going to be 6, because that's the distance from the center to a focus. And if I know both of those, I should be able to find b squared, because I know c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared for hyperbolas. So 36 is equal to 9 plus b squared. B squared is going to be 27. So when I do a hyperbola, this is my goal, is to get it into this equation. Since my center's at the origin and it's horizontal, I know x squared goes first, y squared goes second. I now know that a is 9, a squared is 9, sorry, b squared is 27. That would be my answer for that question. Okay, now let's put one into standard form. If I give you 9x squared minus y squared minus 36x minus 6y plus 18 equals 0, and ask you to put this into standard form, I'm going to do that through the completing the square process. So I'm going to go ahead and take the 9 away from x squared and minus 36x. I'm going to leave some space. I'm going to take a negative away from y squared and the negative 6y, which will make that plus 6y, and I'm going to leave some space. And I'm going to take that 18 over. Now, to find the magic numbers that complete the square here and here, take half of negative 4 on my x, that's negative 2, square that, that's plus 4. But remember, I've got to multiply that, so that means I'm adding 36 to the other side. Take half of your 6, that's 3, square it, that's plus 9, but that's really a minus 9, so I'm going to put the minus 9 over here. So where I'm at now is I have a 9 and I have an x minus 2 squared. I have a minus and I have a y plus 3 squared. And then if I combine all these terms over here, that's going to give me 9. So now to get this into standard form, divide everything by 9. That gives me x minus 2 squared over 1 minus y plus 3 squared over 9 equals 1. And that would be my standard form for that hyperbola. Now in the homework, just like we did with ellipses, this one I am going to make you go through and find all the stuff for that, so you would know, for instance, on this one that your center is at 2, negative 3. We would know that it's horizontal because the x part is first, so therefore your A would be 1, your B would be 3, and using all of that, go back and look at those first two examples. You should be able to, from there, find all of the other stuff. Okay? So, do your homework, and as always, let me know what questions you have. Use your email, use Classroom Stream if you want, use my office hours. Let me know what I can do to help you. Thanks, guys.